Okay, those who are against English on this debate tonight is Sanjay Jha of the Congress Party, Sudhanshu Trivedi will join us of the BJP, Gaurav Bhatia, who's against the English part, and Ravi Srivastav, former IAS officer, who's out there. Sanjay Jha raises his hand immediately. Yes, Sanjay.
No. I'm telling you upfront, Arnab, not at all. In fact, I'm personally and my party is not said anywhere that it supports the BJP's decision today. I think it's wrong. I have tweeted today that it's an antediluvian, it's old, it's antiquated decision taken by the BJP.
But till last week, your position was something else. Your party's position, your party spokespersons came on the channel and said something else. So you have decided that whatever the government does is wrong. You're not taking a logical but a political position on this.
No, I'm not saying that.
Those who feel. No, Sanjay, you can't do this on top of the news. You can't run with the hare and hunt with the hound at top of the NewsHour Debate, please.
Remember, the UPA's policies have been changed by the BJP. UPA's policies have been changed by the BJP.
Let me at least complete the introduction, Sanjay. Those who are terribly against what has happened in the parliament today.
Nobody slotted me, so I told you.
Those who are terribly against what the government has done today. Pandirajan is joining us from Delhi. He's a DMK MLA. Ritabrata Banerjee of the CPIM. Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, former Director General of the CAG. And Ajay Kumar, former IPS officer. Thank you very much. Should we begin the debate? Ajay, what do you think of what the government has done? What are the long-term consequences? Let's start with you.
Hello?
Ajay, in your view, what are the long-term consequences of what the government has done?
Look, Arnab, like I said, first of all, the whole debate has been diverted into a Hindi-English discussion. But I think the ulterior motive was to get rid of CSAT. And, if you look at it from all the UPSC conducts over hundreds of exams. Even for a lower division clerk, you need to have English. The NDA exam, the Combined Defensive Services exam, and every exam, and nobody is speaking about it. So to become a inspector in Central Excise or or to become a sub-inspector of police, you need English, you need logical reasoning. But my colleagues, are saying that to become an Inspector General of Police or a Commissioner of Customs, you don't need it. So fundamentally, I think it's a attack on meritocracy because analyzing graphs, logical reasoning, English comprehension of the 10th standard. So the premier exam of this country has to be of lower standard because there's a political agitation. And it's ridiculous because across the world, whether it is IIT, whether it is the AIEEE engineering exam, whether it's the medical entrance exams, you want the best. And for the civil services, the defense secretary should be having a lower standard, but you expect the NDA kids, and the NDA is an interesting example because most of the kids who are coming from NDA are coming from smaller towns. And there's nobody raising voices for them. Suddenly, because the CSAT has come in, people have, starting an agitation because they don't want to be tested on comprehension and logical reasoning. So I think this whole debate, turning into an urban-rural divide or a Hindi-English divide is actually false. It's about lowering the standard and getting rid of CSAT.
Exactly. So Gaurav, very simply put, since you're on the other side and you want to ensure that you get the maximum political mileage, Mr. Pandirajan, good evening. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Mr. Pandirajan.
Hello, I can hear you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in. So, I'm going to come to you. We're just opening up the debate right now. So, Gaurav Bhatia, do you think the NDA exams, the exams for the NDA, National Defence Academy, should also not have any English component in them? Don't you think that's also discriminatory?
Arnab, let me answer the question and let me participate in the debate in the manner in which I want to do. And let us first...
No, do you think... The debate is very clear. Do you think that the examination for the NDA... No, very simply, let's not complicate this. The NDA examination, which you passed to get into the NDA and become an army officer, in your view, Gaurav, should English be removed from that as well?
Let me make my point and I'll give you reasons if you are willing to hear.
But you're not answering my question. You want to make a speech, but you don't want to answer my question.
By the NDA. I am answering. If you listen to me, I will surely answer. But be patient enough to hear me out. First of all, the NDA is badly handled because they have not had meaningful discussions with the aspirants. And why I'm saying this is because the minister on the floor of the House makes a promise that we will not proceed with the exam till the issue is resolved. And just after a few days, we see that they were distributing admit cards, which led to confusion amongst the protesters, and they started protesting. Now, the main thing that you need to understand, Arnab, more than the Hindi issue, there are many issues that the protesters want to be corrected first before the examination takes place. And merit need not be a slave to a language, please.
You know, I don't understand theory. I don't understand theory. I don't understand theory. I don't understand when I ask basic questions why I can't get basic answers. Sir, please understand, I am proving you are opened a Pandora's box. Gaurav, you don't even know. Do you think Sudhanshu Trivedi knows the Pandora's box is open today? Let me ask, for my first question is this. My first question is, no, please understand, sir, you can't open a Pandora's box and get away with it.
But I can give certain suggestions which would help in resolving this deadlock.
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, please realize the long-term consequences of what you are doing. I am asking a simple, Mr. Pandirajan,
what would you get if you isolate the 50% population that has not been prepared for an exam that is actually biased or is skewed in favor of...
Fine, so tomorrow, today the UPSC exam happens in English and Hindi, right or wrong? No, right or wrong? No, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, right or wrong, the UPSC exam happens in English and Hindi, right? Today you have two language options.
Have you seen the translation?
You have two language options, English and Hindi as of now, right or wrong? Right or wrong?
Question, Arnab.
It's completely wrong. I mean, there's no way.
Of the section.
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, our other panelists are asking you. You brought in language into the UPSC examination.
When they raise these questions.
You have done something without thinking it through. You don't care about the long-term consequences. Today, Ritabrata and Mr. Pandirajan say we want the exams now in Bengali and in Tamil.
That we care for the students more than you and your channel, in fact.
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, then you have no,
that is why we are raising it.
Mr. Bhatia, Mr. Bhatia,
it's another thing.
Mr. Bhatia, you are fighting the UP elections, I am not.
We are opposing the CSAT.
You are fighting the UP elections, I am not. Okay? Samajwadi Party is fighting the UP elections. Times Now is not, so don't give me that lecture.
Rise above petty politics, Arnab. Rise above petty politics.
Sir,
it is not always about elections.
Sir, you must.
Vote bank always.
Sir, you must rise above petty politics.
Please understand that.
You must stop using language to break students and use it for the UP elections. Let's open up the debate. Mr. Pandirajan, I have one. My first question is, sir, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, let others come.
Totality, and you have seen there.
Mr. Bhatia, I am saying tonight,
and today
one language
are raising that issue.
Mr. Bhatia, now Mr. Bhatia, there are two other panelists who want to. Thank God for that. One day you'll say we should boycott it. We ban all English channels also. Thank God you not said that yet. 1 second. Ritabrata and Mr. Pandirajan responding to you. Ritabrata and Mr. Pandirajan. Mr. Ritabrata Banerjee first.
No. First of all, Arnab, today what happened in the House, we had demanded a discussion. Because in a country like ours, you cannot straitjacket everything. As you have pointed out, we have been demanding, we have raised today, that then the exam, we are not against Hindi. But then the examination, every student must have the right to write the examination, have the questions in his or her own language. Hindi is not the language of the entire country. As far as I am concerned, I am come from Bengal. A number of Bengali students who are writing the examination, they must have the right to have the question papers in Bengali. And as I have said in the beginning, in a country like ours, where diversity is the basic factor of unity, you cannot straitjacket everything. So this is a very basic question. We have demanded today that there must be a discussion. Parliament was adjourned. Let us see tomorrow, because this discussion has to be there. This is a very sensitive issue. Language, as far as our country is concerned, is a very, very sensitive issue. And as far as I come from that part of the country, we Bengali people have given blood. We have died in protecting the right for our mother tongue. So mother tongue is a very important issue, and we believe that all Indian languages must have the same importance, must have the same respect, must have the same dignity. This is the basic question, that
Sudhanshu Trivedi,
in the examination, not only the question of Hindi, all languages has to be there.
Okay,
you must have questions in all languages.
I'll open up to all, and I just want to make a quick comment at this stage that this is going to be an open debate. I want to tell the viewers at 9:40, that is 20 minutes to 10, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Till then, it's an open debate. So that specially goes to the two former bureaucrats. Actually, there are three, Amitabh Mukhopadhyay and Ravi Srivastav. Sir, feel free to come in. Otherwise, politicians will take the time and you won't get to speak. Now, before I go to Sudhanshu Trivedi ji, आपको मैं एक tape दिखाना चाहता हूँ, Trivedi ji. Can I show you a tape, Mr. Trivedi? 20-second tape. It's the NewsHour of last week. Mr. Trivedi, can you hear me? आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, I'm getting your voice.
तो पिछले हफ्ते एक प्रोग्राम हुआ था last week. There was a program in English on Friday, in fact, शुक्रवार को. और उस प्रोग्राम में जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव थे, उन्होंने माना था कि ये सारा इशू यूपी इलेक्शंस को लेकर है. The BJP representative admitted that the whole issue is linked with the UP elections. I'm going to show that tape. Let's play it. Mr. Trivedi, please watch this.
On Friday NewsHour, BJP leader Vani Tripathi alleged that the language row was designed for the upcoming assembly elections.
The political debate is created by those forces which are actually scared with the fact that UP has an election. Whatever you have been saying on your program, I've been watching yesterday and also before that whenever you discuss this. But the basic reason why all this is happening is that it is happening as a debate now. Why?
Mr. Trivedi, it was aimed at the UP elections. What are you doing? You're competing with the Samajwadi Party.
What was the interpretation, and our BJP representative was trying to say that those political leaders which are trying to take the thing to the hilt, they might be having this type of intention in the mind. As far as BJP
no, don't interpret what they are trying to say, sir.
We are neither for nor against any language. We are just committed to our position that in any process of selection of prestigious examination like UPSC, there should not be any prejudice to any language. So all students should.
So, Mr. Trivedi, when no 1 minute, Mr. Trivedi, how can you insult? How can you insult so many other services? You have just insulted so many other services.
Social media and Hindi.
You have just
this government which did that. They are bringing linguistic
we have not.
Into India.
One thing is very clear. We have not substituted 20 questions of English with 20 questions of Hindi. One question is very relevant in any aptitude test. Why there should be a portion of any language? We have just deleted that thing. Now it is a purely objective, analytical, synthetic and other whatever you can say is an aptitude test having no portion of.
Where is the aptitude?
Then how it can be discriminated?
Where is the aptitude? You have said that the English questions won't count. And by the way,
Arnab,
a counter question from Ajay Kumar. Ajay Kumar is asking the counter question to the BJP representative.
Arvind Verma committee.
Arnab,
Now, why haven't the BJP accepted the
this.
recommendations of the Arvind Verma committee?
They were thrown into the dustbin. Yes, Ajay Kumar.
No, my question is, all the political people who are making so much of noise on CSAT, the height of double standard is when you find out all their children are only studying in English medium school. So it's purely, it's purely a political issue. And you want the best for IITs, you want the best for medical, even for the subordinate staff selection commission, you have English mandatory, you have logic mandatory, and only the IAS the UPSC suddenly becomes the most important thing where you have political leaders, crying hoarse about the domination of English. But every one of them have kids studying in English medium school.
Good point.
So,
good point. Ravi Srivastav comes into the debate.
Absolutely.
Ravi Srivastav, former IAS officer. I saw his hand go up there. Mr. Srivastav, yes.
Yeah, the point is, Arnab, I just want to highlight the whole fact that last 1.5 months this agitation is going on and the government is doing the too little, too late in every decision. Now today this Minister Jitendra Singh comes in the parliament with a small modification to that we are removing these 20 marks question. I want to ask a question. Tomorrow a Hindi speaking person can say that why not you translate that Hindi paragraph into English? Why should it be loaded in favor of English alone, that you translate from English to Hindi? So my question is that why the government is not taking the whole issue seriously, and instead that they are politicizing it and they want to win the election on the basis of these Hindi speaking votes or any such thing in the UP and other states.
Amitabh Mukhopadhyay,
this is totally unfair.
Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, can the government say this far and no further? Can the government say we won't have English for the IAS examination, but we'll have English for the customs exam? No English for IAS, but English will be there for, inspector level exams or CISF exams. Does that logic hold?
You see, I find the whole debate is not in perspective. What you need to realize is that English is not only the market language across the world, it is not only a market language and has dominance, but also it is designated as one of the official languages in the Constitution of India. It features at least at 8 different articles of the Constitution of India. For the judiciary, for instance, it says very clearly that it is only in the English version that the text will be considered authentic, and all these aspirants to the civil services, unless they can relate to law in the English language, it is privileged. It is privileged by our Constitution. And we must remember that a lot of wisdom has gone into forging in our educational system a 3-language formula, whereby a person relates to his mother tongue, a person relates to Hindi as a national language, and also is able to relate to English. Remember that the Adivasis of Jharkhand, they also speak Nagpuriya. Nagpuriya is not a local dialect-based language. It is a market language. So across the world you have market languages. Even the Scandinavians have learnt English. They're so proud of their language. They're rich, but they have had to. So please understand that this is a very tricky issue. I am with the government when they have tried to nip the agitation in the bud by recognizing that it was a problem in translation which needs to be rectified, and also be the students, you have to be fair to them. At the same time, when it said that English is not going to be counted for the merit reckoning, I think they are being unconstitutional about the matter. They need to look at this whole policy much more seriously, and at the same time recognize the wisdom which has guided this country.
No, Mr. Trivedi, to be honest, and Mr. Pandirajan, let me go to him.
Standard English.
Let me get Mr. Pandirajan, then I'll open it up. You see, Sudhanshu Trivedi, this was not expected of the Narendra Modi government. It was expected that the Modi government, would be strong, that 100, 200, 300 students start protesting. The government is not so weak. Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi just buckles in, caves in, says sorry, forgive us, we'll come out with a solution. You see, what you have done, Mr. Trivedi, is ensure that the Narendra Modi government looks very, 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 very weak. You see, tomorrow 300, 400 students will come out on the streets and say, I don't want English in the NDA exam. And you will have no argument left. You will have to give in to them. You will have no argument left. No, Mr. Trivedi, you can't be so elitist in your approach. You can't be so.
This is a highly objectionable and elitist logic.
This is your elitist
logic.
You're being
I would
elitist.
not like to name.
You're
there were so many agitations in Delhi where the crowd was not more than 200.
You're being elitist,
and media has given them so much of hype and made it a national issue.
You tell me one.
And if you are saying
you
that
answer two questions.
Few hundred students coming, it means it shows a biased attitude. This is an elitist mindset, and which logic was given by your panelist. that everybody aspires to have his children in the English school, so English should be a world privilege. It's like same logic. It's everybody wants to have a car, so every owner counters proper balance.
Okay, so I'll let Mr. Pandirajan answer that. Mr. Pandirajan of the DMK can answer that.
So everybody walking in the car should be entitled for
No, Mr. Pandirajan. Gentlemen, Mr. Pandirajan wants to take on Sudhanshu Trivedi, let him. I am only asking, how is it elitist when Ritabrata says, if you have a test in Hindi, have it in Bengali? If Mr. Pandirajan says, if you have a test in Hindi, have it in Tamil.
Sure.
How is it elitist? You opened the floodgates. You brought in the language issue. Mr. Pandirajan is now responding to you. Mr. Pandirajan.
Hindi versus any language.
Mr. Pandirajan is responding, sir. Go ahead.
Sure, listen, I think there's no way an elected central government can discriminate against some section of its own people. Today, as you said, over 50% of this country do not have Hindi as the mother tongue. And like, there's no reason why, some parts of the country, students should have a competitive advantage. I mean, here, tests should be fair, transparent. What you're throwing out is not only English, it's also a whole lot of aptitude aspects, verbal reasoning, for instance, logical reasoning. All this is being thrown out. And I think it's a very, very casual manner, extempo response of that kind, without realizing what all implications will happen here. I also don't want to see it as one isolated incident. You also have the Sanskrit week happening in CBSE. There are at least 4 instances where Hindi and its primacy is being sought to be restored. I mean, little realizing Jawaharlal Nehru made a commitment that as long as the non-Hindi speaking states wanted, English will remain the linked language. Any attempt to weaken English as a linked language, I think, will weaken the very fabric of integrated India, in my view.
Mr. Trivedi,
there's no reason, and I think government should take extra caution not to rub into the emotional base of this country. I think everybody, there are at least 15 languages which are held as mother tongues very deeply. And I don't think that any elected government should take this issue at this point in time. And just responding like that in the floor of the parliament like that, saying that, yeah, we won't value the marks in English kind of a thing. It's not.
Why did you do that, Mr. Trivedi?
It's a host of critical attitudes.
Why did you? No, Gaurav, please.
Sudhanshuji, I have a question for you.
So, Ritabrata, go ahead.
Today in the parliament, when the minister was speaking, we were present there, we heard a new term. He said that by leaving away this English thing, we have become language neutral. We are unable to understand what is this language neutral thing. I must admit, as just now, the MLA from DMK, Honorable MLA, has said that English is a linked language. We are not against English, we are not against Hindi. But suddenly, in the floor of the House, your minister of the government, comes out with a phrase that language neutral. We are unable to understand what you mean by language neutral.
What is language neutral, sir?
Yeah.
No, Sudhanshu Trivedi, what is language neutral?
Language neutral means the entire question paper should be based on objectivity, subjectivity, imagination, competence, comprehension, not related to language. This was the meaning of the language neutral.
No, so
what is the problem in that?
How is removing?
Selection, we are
then
trying to have the best.
How is removing
all languages, all mother tongues?
No,
speak in different parts of the country.
Then the 1 second, simple question to ask the BJP representative is this.
Should not be a hurdle.
Sudhanshu Trivedi,
Mr. Trivedi, I have a simple question. Then will the questions of the UPSC examination will be in all regional languages? Languages, particularly, see, I come from that part. It is not a question of Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali. It's a question of mother tongue. Mother tongue is a very important thing. To me, English is a foreign language and Hindi is not also my language. My language that arises from my heart, is Bengali. I am a Bengali speaking person.
Right.
I speak English, I speak Hindi, I speak Urdu. But I am not comfortable with these languages.
So
even with the DMK person, I can tell him Manakkam. But that does not mean that I am comfortable with Tamil. I may understand a bit Tamil.
So will you have the UPSC exam in Bengali, Assamese, Nagamese, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada? 1 second, I think the BJP representative needs to answer tonight. How many languages are you ready to have the exam in, sir, Mr. Trivedi?
No, and
That's
Arnab,
why we are
ultimately,
saying
you know,
that the
10th class
aptitude
English,
test, the minister was talking about the aptitude test. Aptitude tests all over the world most of the aptitude tests are language neutral. And I would like to ask our friend from CPIM, during his regime in West Bengal, English started in their Bengali schools from which standard? From 6th standard. And now they are giving sermon in favor of English here. What the government has done the 30 years in West Bengal.
No, see. What happened during the left front rule? It's a question of access to quality education. In our state, when we came to power in 1977,
that's why
majority of the people from the rural background, first generation learner, for some time, yes, English was not there. Then after that, English started from class 1.
And here you are giving so many sermons.
No, you are not telling the correct thing. The correct thing is that from 77 we have removed English. English was taught in 6th standard, but after these people came in, generations came in, first generation learner, huge back there in 77.
Concept
then
of language neutral
reinstated in
no, this is a new concept that the BJP has introduced. The concept is language neutral. Now, what if somebody says, no, Gaurav Bhatia, let me put a counter question. What if somebody says that for a person from Punjab, being language neutral does not mean removing 8 questions of English? It means having a paper and a viva and an interview in Punjabi. You better be prepared for that too.
Objection. It was not.
No, why not?
Just English.
No, why not?
It was no any
Why
language.
not? Why not give that option? Are they not recognized languages?
That things are not being put in a proper perspective.
Sir, you don't have the perspective.
Remove English. Remove any language.
Sir, okay. Sir, one second. Simple question. I want Gaurav Bhatia. Since Gaurav Bhatia and Sudhanshu Trivedi are the two people who are vociferously supporting the removal of English, I just want to ask them, why are they being so unfair on other people?
It was not removal of English, it is removal of any language in aptitude.
So I am asking you. So I am asking both of you. I am asking both of you a simple question. I hope you have the courage to answer. And my question is simply this.
Yes, Arnab. I will
No, how can you answer a question I have not asked? My question is this, sir. Gaurav
Because
Bhatia.
you did ask the question even before.
No, I am asking the question a second time with clarity, so that you don't answer your question, but you answer mine. My question to you, sir. Customs officers should not have any English. NDA exam should not have any English. CISF assistant commandant exam should not have any English. State Bank of India, any bank probationer exam should not have any English. I want you and the BJP representative right here, right now on NewsHour to say that you support the removal of English from all these exams. Say so. Unless you are going to be hypocritical and say, no, हमारा political point हो गया.
Yeah, now I
हम लोगों पे जाके कह सकते हैं कि IAS officer बनने के लिए, to be an IAS officer, you don't have to know English. But why do you need to know English to be a customs officer?
Arnab,
Answer that question.
Medical entrance exam, engineering entrance exam.
We are not saying that we are for the removal of English from all types
One of you.
We are just made a point.
Arnab. Yeah, Arnab.
Yes,
when
Gaurav.
you say that only 300 protesters were protesting, I think you are demeaning and you are insulting those who were protesting all over the country for this issue. So please don't trivialize it.
No, I am not trivializing.
300 protesters.
10 times I ask you the question, 10 times you won't reply.
You said.
I want to know. You see, this is a serious matter.
Answer to your question is.
This is a serious matter. You are playing with the lives and careers of students.
Attentively. You are playing with lives of many millions.
Sir, you are
proficient in Hindi and not in English.
So what is this Hindi thing now?
What we are trying to say.
What about students proficient in Tamil?
The purpose of the UPSC.
What about students proficient in Kannada?
Gaurav, we are not against Hindi, but what about the other languages in our country?
You might
Hindi is not our mother tongue.
Yes.
I must have the right to write the examination in my own mother tongue.
No, please, I will complete myself. Maybe you are in agreement with me. Just give me an opportunity. All I'm trying to say is the purpose of having UPSC exam is that you tap the best talent of the country. And it is not necessary that you will get this best talent from the persons who are proficient in English. It could be a person who speaks fluent Bengali and he has the aptitude to govern the country. He could be a person who speaks Malayalam. He could be a person
he must have the right to have the question paper in his mother tongue.
You cannot.
It is not a question of Bengali, it's a question of all languages, registered languages, the languages, the country. We have the languages, different languages throughout the country.
if you hear me out,
Ajay Kumar countering. Contrary view.
I am hearing you out.
And you cannot keep out those people who speak in Hindi just because you make an exam
Gaurav!
which is skewed towards person.
No, I'm not at all keeping out. I am saying you have English, you have Hindi, but also you have all the Indian languages. You must have the same dignity, same importance for all the Indian languages. The mother tongue of different people in different parts of the country.
My second point is...
No, one sec, Gaurav, I'm getting many views, please.
Provide the basic...
Gaurav, 1 minute. Gaurav, 1 minute. Let me get many views in Mr. Pandirajan. No, Mr. Pandirajan. Mr. Pandirajan, I'd like to go to Mr. Pandirajan, Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, Ravi Srivastav. 1 second. Yes, Mr. Pandirajan. I'm not getting a clear answer from the guest on whether English will be removed from all tests.
Listen, this is you know, I think this language neutrality is what in BJP would call as pseudo-neutrality. In the sense, you can't really design a test as someone who has lived 20 years of my life designing tests, psychometric tests and all that. Listen, any HR person will tell you language neutrality cannot happen in a manner that he's saying. The minister says, Mr. Trivedi says, we'll have subjective and objective tests. It's oxymoronic in the sense it's nothing but pseudo-neutrality which can get arrived when you do a language neutral test per se. I think it's absolutely to keep out English, it seems to be the attempt to design tests which are language neutral.
In 1 minute,
on these critical attributes will take years to build.
In 1 minute,
need to have cultural sensitivity and all I would see it as an integrated.
In 1 minute, I'm opening up to phone lines.
Bringing back Hindi to the center stage.
In 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen.
No reason, why.
In 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen.
How will you, not discriminate.
I am only asking
from other parts of the country.
Yeah, Mr. Pandirajan.
15 languages need to be, brought into the
Mr. Pandirajan. There are only two very simple.
And how will you have all India tests running with 15 languages
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, there is a world outside Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Bhatia, there is a world outside Uttar Pradesh also.
Neutrality, which will get.
There is a world outside Uttar Pradesh.
No way you can design language neutral aptitude test of the kind that is being spoken about. And how do you blend objectivity and subjectivity? I really don't think this is thought through. I think it's a seat-of-the-pants response to some emergent reality.
Gentlemen, a minute. I am opening up lines. Just a minute, please, Mr. Pandirajan. I think I've lost the line there with you. I am opening up the lines to only ask 2 questions. 1 minute, let me reiterate 2 points. I reiterate tonight, and I reiterate with all honesty, that okay, let the government say we've removed the English questions. I have 2 simple questions, Mr. Ravi Srivastav and Mr. Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, who both been bureaucrats, will understand where I'm coming from. I am first saying, if you've removed English from IAS exam, will you remove it from all exams, including all the defense, inspector, police, state level, bank, probationary officer, then remove it from all exams? I don't think you can have a country in which you can have one rule for the IAS exam and one rule for all other government exams. Point number 2 is, if you have language, only Hindi and English as the 2 options, do the rest of the Indian languages not matter? What is illegitimate in what Mr. Pandirajan is saying, or for that matter, what Mr. Ritabrata is saying? If you have got to be language neutral, then you need to be able to give the exams in local languages and give the interview also in local languages. Only then will you be truly language neutral. Till then you won't be.
Standard English.
What?
Yeah, Arnab,
yes, please.
Can I reply?
Yes, please, Mr. Srivastav.
Arnab, can I reply?
Yes, please, you go ahead.
Language neutral examination in writing as well as through the interview is a myth. It cannot be achieved. Even I'm rightly saying, for the exam of the inspector or the custom officer or NDA, this has to be a must, because without this, the process will be regional specific. The person who is taking the examination and interviewing him and taking him for the particular post, this will become a complete bias on that because of the particular language. So that's not possible.
So you admit,
it has to maintain a neutrality.
Sir, you admit, Mr. Trivedi, you messed up. I'm sorry to say this directly. You really messed up on this one, Mr. Trivedi. You really messed it all up.
Can I respond?
Because you wanted to compete with Mulayam, you messed it up.
Each and everything. The statement of minister was with reference to CSAT, with reference to aptitude test, not of the entire examination. In entire examination, you can allow any aspirant to have any language, you can have language proficiency test or other type of test. And I would like to ask a general question. In any entrance examination, what do you search for? The best talent, the best IQ and the intelligence.
Trivedi,
and then you can allow everybody to adopt. If somebody in the IAS takes the subject sociology, anthropology or history, it's not going to be basis for IAS. Like in engineering entrance exam, you just
why are you dividing this country?
English and in all other languages.
Chemistry, math, how you have judged it? You just have a medium to judge the talent and its intelligence.
Sir, I'm asking.
And if intelligence, as far as the impact of language should be minimum, what is wrong in that? It is only reference to aptitude test, not to the entire examination. This is the point which are messing up.
Sir, you have removed a 8-question, 22-mark section. You have made it a time pass section for serious civil aspirants. And Mr. Trivedi, you don't have one reply to my 2 questions. I have asked 2 questions. Question number 1, why don't you remove it from all exams? Have the courage. Have the courage to say. सारे एग्जाम से निकाल देंगे इंग्लिश को कह दीजिए आप
मिस्टर अर्नब गोस्वामी दिस इज नॉट प्रोरोगेटिव ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट Government has just suggested it is the prerogative of the UPSC and the examination conducting body.
Please, these are political decisions. You're messing up with the lives of students.
I would like to quote one more thing. I would like to quote one more thing. Let me complete my sentence. When there was a compulsory English in the engineering entrance examination, it was removed in early 90s, and India became economic IT superpower in the late 90s and early 2000s. It hardly matters whether the student that came from which background. You have to tap the best.
You remove English. You remove English. You keep Hindi. The English paper in mains is a non-qualifying paper. The English section in the prelims is not graded.
English, keep
you
Hindi.
have effectively
This is highly objectionable sentence that you are saying. We have removed any language. We have not replaced one language by the other.
You have junked English.
This is a misconception which has been consistently harped upon this. This is wrong.
We are going to, I am getting a lot of calls tonight, and the first caller is Clifford. Clifford is calling from Mumbai. Clifford, good evening. Let's go straight into the debate. Clifford, good evening. What do you think? And we are staying with the debate for a little longer. Yes, please, Clifford.
Yeah, Mr. Arnab, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm nice talking to you. My question is, if the reason why India has progressed so much in our country, is because of English. And we're going to scrap English. We are going to be moving backwards. And this is going to be the responsibility of this government for our backwardness.
Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, you hear that? I can take a lot of calls tonight, but people will also ask you whether it's a mere coincidence that there were no protests to the CSAT.
If somebody is saying that we have progressed because of English, it means they are not having confidence in India and Indianness. Prior to English came to India in 19th century, India's contribution to the global GDP as per the British government report was 22%.
Sir, then tonight make two commitments.
From Alexander the Great to Britishers.
Sir, make two commitments tonight.
Sir, don't reduce logic that India has progressed because of English.
Sir,
this shows a bias.
Then
should not have bias to any language.
1 second.
We are neither against English nor pro any language.
Ajay is responding. Ajay, please.
Yes,
then the next caller.
Ajay. English and India.
Ajay, please.
Biggest contributor of the English literature and other English magazines in the world.
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, please understand, sir.
So first thing is, Arnab.
Yeah.
First thing is what Sudhanshu Trivedi is saying is ridiculous, to say that India can only progress. I mean, first of all, whether he's saying by the regional languages, English is not needed.
Again, you are twisting. I'm not saying India can only progress. Again, you are twisting the thing on as per you desire. This is not fair.
Sudhanshu, let me complete. First question is the typical BJP double speak. When you want to get onto the Facebook and everything else, you use English. You say India shining and everything else. And then when political pressure comes, suddenly you are saying that it is an Hindi issue. The question is 10th class English. Yeah, the entrance exam is asking for the CSAT is saying 10th class English. And the issue is not even English. It is to get rid of CSAT. And that is what is the danger. You don't want any competent guys for the most important positions in the country. You don't want quality. But you're saying, no, rest of the exam it is okay because it is politically expedient. So let's not, camouflage our intention with goodness. Say it is a political solution because we couldn't take the pressure.
Absolutely, and it was clear because when the agitation started.
This is not the political
because when
solution.
the agitation, Mr. Trivedi,
It is political.
Mr. Trivedi,
Responsibility of the leadership of the country is take everybody together. Go by 2011 census. How many people use English?
Mr. Trivedi,
1%.
Mr.
By
Trivedi,
your logic, you want to have a.
Mr. Trivedi, hear me. When the agitation started steam, you bought yourself time by saying you're waiting for the Verma committee report. Then when the Verma committee report came in, which according to our sources says keep the status quo, you bought time saying we are studying it. Today our government makes an announcement that goes 100% against the Verma committee report. If the findings of the report did not matter to you,
That's right.
and you had no intention to make it a political decision, why did you buy time?